There it goes.
It's coming.
500 miles.
Bam.
Nothing changed yet.
It's about to change in a few seconds.
Nothing has changed.
Jeremy's took till about 501. Mine's changed at 500.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. There it goes. Just changed. Went all the way up to 5,500 RPMs. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Brink of Speed. Today we are going to talk about my 1 month experience living with my beautiful new C8 Corvette and what that's been like. So let's not waste any time. Let's do a cold start, get in the car, go for a drive, and let me go over exactly what my experience has been in the little over 1 month of owning this absolutely incredible C8 Corvette. All right, let's go for a ride. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are in the C8, and I wanted to go over my 1 month experience owning this car. But before I do that, I want to just let you know real quickly again, when I made the GM video, everything GM does not want you to know is wrong with the C8 Corvette, I was not trying to be derogatory towards GM. It's kind of hard to explain this YouTube thing and how it works, but that was not my intention to set out to create a video that deliberately was putting down GM and the way that they do business and the way they build their cars. My ultimate goal was basically to show you guys things that were already starting to be maybe a little bit of an issue with my new C8 Corvette and others out there that own this car. And so I wanted to make it really clear to you that my intentions were good. However, I probably should not have titled that video the way that I did. I probably should have titled it more along the lines of everything that has gone wrong with my C8 so far. You know, something along those lines, and just talked about my own car, not really included anyone else's car in there. Not that I, named any names or anything, but just including other cars that were not my own is probably not the best practice. So I want to apologize to GM and let you guys know that I am not that type of person. I'm not someone that sets out to deliberately talk trash about any company, even if the company's bad. And GM's an amazing company. So even if GM was a bad company, I still wouldn't talk trash about them. I would still be professional and go about the way that I refer to that company in a professional manner. And so I should have done the same for GM, and I should have put a disclaimer at the very beginning of that video stating that these are just things that have been found wrong with the C8. These are things that I had concerns about my own C8. However, did it change the fact of how much I love this car and how much I still want to get in it every single day and drive it and enjoy the heck out of it? No, it doesn't change that at all. I absolutely love this car. I do not second guess myself for purchasing the first generation C8 at all. Not one little bit. Not even have I thought about it for half a second. No, I would never ever think that I made the wrong decision about buying this first generation C8. I feel like I made an excellent decision. I feel like I'm super lucky and very blessed to own this car. And so I just wanted to clear that up before we got started on this next video. So with that being said, let's jump into my 1 month experience, which has been absolutely incredible, of living with this beautiful 2020 C8 Corvette. So right off the bat, I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to talk about pretty much every component about the C8. And so the first thing I want to talk about are the tires. There were a lot of people talking about the brand new Michelin Pilot 4S tires on the new C8. And were they going to be, you know, these incredible tires, or were they going to just be a tire that didn't last long? Yes, they had grip, but were they really going to be that good? Well, I'm here to tell you that after a month of owning this car, these tires are phenomenal. And as you probably know, if you've been watching my channel for quite some time, on my 2009 black Z06, which is what I started this channel with, when I needed new tires, I went ahead and bought the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. And they turned out to be the best tires I have ever owned. And so I already knew they were going to be great tires, but there were some people out there that were stating that these were completely different 4S's because they were built especially for the C8 Corvette. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really think it is, but Michelin would not change the quality of the tire just because they're building it specially for a car. And like I said, I don't think that's true, but I can already tell that the quality of this tire is just as good as the 4S's that I bought for my 2009. Next, let's talk about brakes, since we're down in that area. The brakes on this car are incredible. Now, I have not put them through any kind of harsh braking scenario yet, because I figured that the longer I can go without slamming on the brakes in this car, the better off the brakes are going to be. So, as far as knowing how well they do under tremendous braking, I don't. But what I do know is that under normal daily driving braking, they've been incredible. They don't squeak. There is no harsh feedback from the pedal. Basically, you get what you input on the brake pedal, and that's excellent news to someone like myself. I like to be able to tell exactly how much I need to press on the pedal. When I first got my C7 Z06, it had the carbon ceramic brakes, and it was actually an experience learning how to not press hard on those brakes because they had so much bite. And that's good, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to have a linear brake pedal as far as, you know, when you just hardly press on it, you don't, you know, get this huge bite. And I like that. But then again, if you press, you know, pretty decently on the brake pedal, you do get a very good bite on that, you know, on your brakes. So the brakes are excellent. I have absolutely no complaints. Let's move on to the looks. You guys already know I absolutely love the looks of this car, but after a month of owning it, obviously you're going to get kind of used to the looks, and you're going to find things that you may like or dislike. I haven't really found anything about the looks that I dislike. Maybe the rear spoiler at certain angles is not my favorite look, but for the most part, it looks amazing. The only other thing that I can think of as far as the exterior goes is I wouldn't mind it if GM in the future, maybe for the 2021 or 2022, lowered the stance a little bit, especially if you're going to go ahead and purchase the front end lift. Now, if you're the type of guy that, you know, is never going to spend the money on the mag ride suspension or the front end lift or anything like that, then you're probably going to want the stance as is, because it has a pretty high stance, and I really have only had to use the front end lift on my driveway. And so it has a pretty good stance right now as far as getting over speed bumps and things like that. So I have no complaints as far as that goes. However, if you're going to go ahead and purchase the front end lift, I think it would be really cool if GM would give you the option to have them lower the stance by maybe an inch, maybe even an inch and a half, something like that, and then maybe make the front end lift an inch higher. Just my thoughts on the thing. That would be, I think, pretty cool to have a lowered stance. That way the wheel wells are, you know, instead of maybe being that high above the tire, it would maybe be something like that, and it would look a little bit more exotic that way. The other thing that is not a complaint at all, but is something that I noticed after raising the rear trunk over and over and over again to show people the engine, is it would be really, really cool. You know how when you get an SUV, sometimes you can open the rear hatch on the SUV, or they give you the option to press a button and just the rear window raises up. I think it would be kind of cool if GM had put a button on your control or on, you know, the back where you open the hatch to make it possible where when you just want to show people the engine, all you do is raise up that rear glass. I think that would be incredible. So GM, if you're watching this, I think that'd be kind of cool. If you don't do it, it's not a big deal at all. But if you think it's a good idea and it's inexpensive to do, I think it'd be pretty cool to do that. Now, moving on to the inside of this car, I've got to tell you, I am so happy that I went with the GT1 seats. Now, I have not had any experience with the GT2 seats or the competition seats. I just know what I've been told by people that have those seats, and they say that, you know, they're comfortable, but they're not uber comfortable enough to feel like they could take a long road trip and have superior comfort with those seats. Me, on the other hand, with these GT1 seats, I feel like I could drive all day long in this car and never be uncomfortable. Obviously, you know, you have to take your breaks, you know, make stops just like a normal car, but these seats are so relaxing and so comfortable. And at the same time, they grip you extremely well, so you're not having to worry about, if you are, you know, out on a track taking turns fast or whatever, you're not going to slide around in these seats. So they're super, super comfortable. As I said before about the steering wheel, the more and more I use this steering wheel, the more and more I drive this C8, the more I absolutely love this steering wheel. It is the best steering wheel that I've ever had in a car, and I'm so happy that GM decided to go with the Squircle steering wheel. It is phenomenal. I can't wait to get on the track because I know that's where it's even going to shine brighter. And so I'm super excited that I have this Squircle steering wheel. It is phenomenal. Another thing that I'm so happy about in the interior is the cup holders. We all know that the Corvette cup holders have mainly been a point of joking and laughing. You know, they've been the laughing stock of the interior of a Corvette. And that's because they weren't great cup holders until now. Now GM has finally put phenomenal cup holders in this C8. And you can put bottles of water, you can put, you know, my big 40-ounce Arctic cup, my wife's 20-ounce Arctic cup. Obviously, the 40-ounce that I have in mine fits nice and snug, so it's perfect because I'm never going to want anything else but that in my cup holder. But I love the cup holders. I absolutely love it. Now, let's move on to manual mode in this car. Have I driven this car a lot in manual mode? Originally, when I first thought about driving this car and talked about driving this car, I thought I was going to be doing a lot of manual mode driving, but I haven't really. This dual clutch transmission has pretty much talked me into not driving this car in manual mode. It's just too good to drive in manual mode. The auto mode is just that good. It's unfreaking believable how amazing this car shifts. You really don't need to downshift. You really don't need to upshift for it to get better performance. This transmission is phenomenal. So as far as manual mode goes, I have not driven this car much in manual mode. It's been driven very little in manual mode. So it's crazy how amazing this automatic DCT is. Now, I know I've already discussed the suspension in this car, the mag ride suspension, and so I'm not going to dwell on that very long, but I just want to let you know that the more and more that I drive this car, the better the mag ride suspension feels to me. The more I figure out that yes, this mag ride suspension is quite a bit more capable and higher technology than the Generation 3 mag ride suspension, even with the update in my C7 Z06. Is this car capable of being a daily driver? Of course, all the Corvettes that I've owned have been capable of being a daily driver, but this takes it to the next level. This C8 it has to be the first sports car or supercar, whatever you consider it, you know what I consider it, that I've ever owned that I would say daily driving would absolutely never get old. You would never get out of the car and say, man, I'm kind of getting tired of getting in that car every day and using it as a daily driver. It just beats me up, yada, yada, yada. No. This car feels like I'm in a luxury sedan and I could drive it every day of the week and I could commute a very long distance. I could commute, 50 to 100 miles in this thing and never get tired of it. So as far as the Generation 4 mag ride, it doesn't get much better than this car. I mean, I can't see how it could get better. Now, moving on, as far as gas mileage goes, I know you guys are going to want to know about that. So far, this gas mileage is also incredible. When I first fill up and I get on the highway, this car is getting high 20s and low 30s on the highway, which is just unheard of for this type of a performance car. Obviously, Corvettes have always gotten great gas mileage, but when you compare this to a Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren. This gas mileage is just incredible. I've done quite a bit of, gunning it on this tank of gas, and I'm still getting 17.5 miles to the gallon. I'm at half a tank right now. Now, when you're running and gunning constantly, it drinks the gas pretty quickly. But when you're just driving pretty much normal in town and on the highway, the mixture is right around 18 to 19 miles per gallon. So that has to do with daily driving. You're going to get great gas mileage, especially if you're doing some highway driving on your daily drives. There's a lot of people that have been asking about the V4 mode and how often does that kick in, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to talk about that also. The V4 mode kicks in a lot, especially when you're in tour mode. It's something that I've already contacted Range about, Range Technologies, and asked them if they are going to come out with a device for the C8, and they don't know when they're going to come out with that device. Now, my device that I have for my C7, I asked them if that would work in the C8, and they said they don't know, but they don't think it would be a problem to put it in and try it. If you know anything about that, leave a comment down below. I obviously don't want to mess this car up, but they said if you put it in, the worst that would happen is it would throw a check engine light, and as soon as you pull it back out, the check engine light will go away. So I haven't tried it yet, but back to the V4, V8 mode, I do not like the V4 mode. I feel like it's an intrusion that is not necessary. I feel like the gas mileage would be great even without it, because every time it comes on, I press the gas a little bit to get rid of it. The next thing I want to talk about is the C8 launch control. Obviously, you guys have seen my launches in this car, and I want to compare it to the C7 launch control. You guys who have been watching my channel for quite some time know that I was very unimpressed with the C7 launch control in the Z06. Now, as far as the C7 Grand Sport and Stingray launch control, that seemed to do an excellent job because there wasn't as much power. So it did an excellent job on that launch control. But with 650 horsepower, it was like the computers could not figure out how not to spin the tires big time, and that was a real problem. So I figured out how to go faster 0 to 60 and quarter mile without using the launch control. But in this C8, it's not a problem at all. The launch control is absolutely incredible. It hooks and books and lets just a little bit of tire spin, but even sometimes it doesn't let any tire spin happen. So I love it. A lot of you have been asking me about the break-in period for my car and how was it? Did I do it properly? Did I, follow GM's instructions to the T? All the answers to that are yes. I followed the GM instructions to a T. I made certain that I didn't go above, the 3,500 RPM before the 500 miles. I did not get on it hard once until I hit the 500 mile mark. And then, I got on it, but I didn't even do any launches with this car until it had gone over the, 600-700 mile mark, because I wanted it to kind of get a second type of break-in with higher RPMs. And so that's what I did there. But the break-in period felt like an eternity. It felt like it was going to take forever to get over with. And now I'm at 1,423 miles, which is only 77 miles away from being able to take this car to a racetrack. And so that's my next thing that I can't wait to do, is take this car to a racetrack and then give you guys feedback from that. So that will be the very next thing that I give you a review on, as far as the handling capability of this car, the acceleration out of turns, you know, everything that has to do with the racetrack. I cannot wait to tell you guys about that. So people are also wanting to know about the front end lift and how good it works. It has been one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced with a car. Not only does it work well, but you don't have to think about it. So far, I've only programmed one location, and that's my driveway. But it's so cool because I literally will be about 80 to 100 yards away from my house, and the front end lift starts lifting my car. So it's ready. So as soon as I get to the driveway, I just pull in. I don't have to pull in at a different type of angle that I normally do. I just pull right in, go into the garage, and it lowers, and I shut the car off. Same thing when I come out of the garage. Right when I start my car, it starts raising up. So when I back out, my car is already raised up. I don't have to think about it. I just back out, go, you know, start driving down the street, and my car lowers. But yeah, the front end lift is phenomenal. So that's really gonna do it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have learned a lot. Again, I hugely appreciate each and every one of the Brink of Speed community family members. We are well over 20,000 subscribers now. I am so excited. This channel is growing each and every day, and it's all because of you guys. So I appreciate and love each and every one of you. If you have not joined this wonderful Brink of Speed community, make sure you smash that red subscribe and bell notification so that you're notified when my new content comes out. And trust me, there's some amazing big news coming to the Brink of Speed channel shortly. So you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to see what's going on with the Brink of Speed community. If you enjoyed this video, make sure and give me a big thumbs up. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful week this week. Stay safe out there, folks. And I can't wait to start seeing you guys back on the road.